A very good evening to you. Good to have you join us on the program Marriage Arena. This evening is a special evening for all of us in the studio. Okay, today I say it's special because Pastor Ashom and Mrs. Hannatu Ashom are the ones handling the program this evening. And of course, it's a special package for them because they will be celebrating their 18 years wedding anniversary. So I'm leaving them in the studio. I'm just introducing them and I'm leaving them in the studio. The whole family is here. So it is their affair this evening. And I do hope that you stay tuned and listen today how to them. They'll talk to you how the journey has been for the past 18 years, and I'm sure you're going to take on something today. So I'm leaving you. Good evening, Pastor Asham. Good evening, Mrs. Hannah to Asham. It's good to have you both in the studio this evening.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Okay,
It's
so
good to be here.
Like I said, I'm leaving you people. You put it on you.
Okay.
I'll be sitting at the background and hearing you.
Okay.
All right. So you have a wonderful time, listener, with this wonderful couple this evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate our producer. She's been a great blessing. And this is another opportunity to bless you out there. So I also greet you good evening. So what do you have to tell them?
Good evening, listeners.
Okay, so it's a privilege actually to spend this very wonderful day with you because it's a season that we are celebrating our 18th wedding anniversary like our auntie, our sister Linda just said. So we're going to think loud. We're going to share, and you will be privileged to hear our discussion. You know, it's a reflection on the goodness of God, the grace of God we have enjoyed, the challenges we have encountered, the mistakes we have made, the headways we have made, and the rest of them.
Yeah, and we pray that you'll be blessed and enriched by some of our experiences and how God has helped us through the journey. Good evening.
Okay, so that's a good one. Now, let's reflect.
Yeah.
This is 18 years.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, remember April 8th.
And it's just like yesterday.
Just like yesterday, actually. April 8th, 2006.
And 6, yes.
You remember when I was in my white suit?
Oh, it was cream.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right, that's cream.
It's cream, yes.
You know, men and colors, women and colors, they know
yeah.
better. Okay, so I was in my cream suit and
Yeah.
Akpan by my side.
Yeah, your
Obot
best
Akpan.
man.
Yeah, the best
Very
man.
nice man.
Yeah. So now that was the day, and I remember that day. That unlike other weddings, when women rather would weep, I was the one weeping.
In fact, it ruffled a lot of my friends. Many people were wondering why you were weeping actually instead of me doing the crying or the weeping.
Good. On a day that it will be expected that I'll be taking the trophy home, I was the one weeping. So it sounded like a regret, but really it wasn't a regret.
Yeah.
So, but today you have the privilege to hear the story.
So why were you crying then?
Why was I crying?
Then? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I remember Shikfu, now Reverend Shikfu, came around and said, I know why you were crying. Many people didn't understand, but I know why you were crying. And truly why I was crying was because I had spent my time that wedding morning in prayer. I woke up around 3-4 in the morning and spent time asking God to grant me grace to be able to honor my vows. That if he would not, I know on my own, I would not be able to please him. So I would rather die that morning than to live and displease him in marriage by dishonoring my wedding vows. So I had wept my heart out. I had cried before God that morning, asking him for grace to honor him in my marriage. So when I came to take the vows, and each word just seemed very heavy.
Yeah.
So I had to just that weeping was weeping unto God, was crying unto God. God just helped me. And I received my peace.
Yeah, and that was actually very deep. You know, these days that people run to the altar, or like say run or dance to the altar, and they don't take the vow with much depth in it. They just feel as if it's one of those religious rites that they need to fulfill. So the vow is not as heavy onto them in taking it. That is why you find out that a lot of people, even after taking the vow, for better, for worse, or for richer, for poorer, or I will leave all others and cleave to you, you still find them not really committed to the vow, and then going their way and doing their thing as if they've actually not taken any vow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so reflecting on the journey, how did it even really start? How did it really start?
Well, it's actually an interesting one. It's actually an interesting one. I feel as if you're in the best position to answer that because you're the man. So since
since I figured
you were
it out
the
first.
initiator, yes,
Okay.
initiator of the human initiator. So can we- I think it would be good to hear it from you then.
Yeah. I'm looking for words to really summarize the story.
Yeah.
I was just one who was concentrating on building himself, to be a responsible man when he gets married, to be a
Yeah.
blessing to some privileged woman, daughter of Christ, when we're married.
Yeah.
So I was just building myself, and I would always tell my friends that I was single and becoming, and not single and searching. I wasn't really searching
You were
because
loud about it.
yeah, because I already had a covenant with God that I should be what He wants me to be, and He would bring the right person at the right time. So I was just making my efforts to become. So now, then God just brought some young girl around. He created a need in some young girl. Yeah, He created some need in the life of a beautiful girl who needed some counsel. And she came for counsel. I remember that fateful morning when I finished the morning prayer.
Leading the morning prayer on the public address system.
Yes, on the public address system in the community. I just finished leading. Then I saw this beautiful young lady that morning, wondering what brought her out at that hour of the morning. And she asked if she could speak to me, and all that. Well, eventually it was a counsel. Need for counseling. So the counseling, I counseled her, encouraged her. Then I began feeling some attraction. I began feeling some attraction, not just attracted to a sister, but romantically attracted to somebody that should be a wife. And I really was confused.
Yeah.
I really was confused. So I asked a friend, and the friend told me, he laughed first and told me, brother, you are really in love. So it started, and I went to God, and God said she was the one, and confirmed it through other brethren that we were praying together, that you were the one. And this is the young lady here today. Yeah, she's the young lady, my wife of 18 years.
Yeah, like joke, and here we are today.
Good. And after perceiving it, I wonder how I was going to start, because here I was encouraging somebody, spiritually encouraging somebody. Will it not be like taking advantage of a young girl who was coming for counseling? So I had to soft pedal everything, make sure she was well established and she could make a decision.
And I think it took you like 2 years from then to actually make your move and then talk to me. Yes.
Good. So,
and that was real discipline, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's a privilege of upbringing. When one is brought up well, taught well, it speaks even in such situations. Imagine all the emotions I had. Imagine that a day's delay could mean some other person could snatch.
Yeah. But it's actually a good thing, since you were really waiting on the Lord to really receive confirmation. And I think that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people just jump into relationships without really understanding what God is saying. But I admire that discipline in you, that you could take your time in order to hear what God is saying and to really receive confirmation and get the whole atmosphere and circumstance ready for the situation, for your expression.
Okay.
Yes.
And I came, presented my leading to you eventually, and you prayed.
Yes, I had to pray because he had the leading. I actually didn't have the leading. Why? Because he was a pastor in training, and I didn't feel as if I was called into marrying a pastor or somebody occupying such a position. So I was actually confused and wondering what it was. So when I went to God in prayer, when I went to God in prayer, there was confirmation. God sent someone who confirmed it to me. Apart from that, he gave me certain scriptures to make me understand that, yes, this is the person for me. So, but I played a little shakarasha even after knowing.
Women are still women. Okay.
Even after receiving the confirmation, I told him when he said, I said, I'm not sure. Let me just take my time. So I took some time, and then eventually I agreed, and we began the journey.
Okay. Okay. So the journey.
Well, another thing is because the way you proposed, it was heavy.
Yeah.
Yes, it was heavy because you didn't say, I want you to be my girlfriend. You said, okay, this is your intention. So can we walk this journey into marriage? You
Yeah.
just make a proposal straight away. So I was confused. I didn't want to say yes because I knew then if I should say yes, I'm not just saying yes to friendship. I was also saying yes to marriage. So it's like accepting his proposal of engagement straight away. So it was heavy on me. I had to take my time as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I really appreciate God because you when you said you were going to take your time, you took your time.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you went to pray and God spoke in different ways.
Yes, God spoke.
I was
God
really
spoke.
touched when God sent that person to your office.
Yeah. It was a person I never saw, I never met, and it actually surprised me because on that particular day, I was taking a prayer fast as well, trusting God, believing God for direction and all that. And then when he came into the office, he just saw me and he looked at me critically. And he wasn't coming to my office. He was going to my boss's office. So he went in, but then he still came back. He said, please, young lady. I said, yes. I have a message for you. I said, okay. So he now told me he actually, when he was coming in, the Lord dropped a message in his heart. He said he saw me in the ministry, married to a minister, and being a pillar in the ministry. He said that is actually it. He said if I need confirmation, I should meet somebody that is more mature in order to discuss that with the person. I didn't even tell him that there was some, I didn't even tell him anything. I didn't, give him any direction concerning, whether there is somebody around or anything. No. So he said I should just go to someone who is more mature to receive clarification because that was just the prompting that he got. And then he gave me the message.
Yeah. And God spoke loud.
Yeah, he did. God did.
Clear.
God did.
I don't think we were actually in doubt as
no.
regards God's plan for us.
No.
That
no.
you were meant for me. I was, if there's, in fact, more than 100% certain.
At that point in time, I was just wondering, why did God speak so clearly? You understand? As in, so clearly, there wasn't any doubt concerning the whole situation. Why was God speaking clearly? It was eventually as we began the relationship and into marriage, I knew that no, God needed to let us know that he's involved in this.
Yeah.
If not, would have been long apart. If we thought that it was our own initiative, would have abandoned this journey and then would have been long apart. We wouldn't have been here today.
That's true. And when I reflect on these 18 years, how we were able to survive the storms, to survive the challenges, I know that if it were not God, if God had not handled the issue he did from the beginning,
sure,
we would not have survived it.
Exactly.
People would expect, and even myself, I believe you too, had expected that because God spoke loud and clear, the journey was just going to be smooth
and easy. Yes.
But
that was my expectation, out of inexperience and everything. I thought that, okay, how about this young man is a man of God. He loves God, and I'm also passionate about God. So everything is just going to run smoothly.
Yeah.
But the moment we agreed to go on that journey, it's like all hell was let loose against our relationship and against us. So it was one issue after the other. I think even in the relationship, we parted ways several times, before coming together, and then, knowing that it's God's idea, so we couldn't just run away from it.
Yeah, you remember on I think it was the wedding week, if not a day or two before.
Yes.
We went around ITF field.
Yes.
And you tell me, they do again. Can you imagine that? At the nick of time, she was telling me, they do.
Yes, actually I did. I did. there was much confusion when the marriage was coming closer.
Yeah,
Differences came up, opinions, and then decisions had to be made and things like that. And it's like we weren't really understanding each other then. So I was confused and just wondering, wow, if I just married this guy now with all these troubles that are coming up, I don't really know how we're going to sail through and all that. And then that day I just like, I'm not doing this thing.
Okay, but thank God that He helped us.
Yeah.
And through it we grew.
Yeah, we did. We
grew.
We did.
So April 8th, 2006, we tied to the knot.
Yeah.
Sealed. The deal was sealed.
It was sealed.
And I carried my wife home. Okay, so now, then many things came up.
Yeah.
Many things came up. The challenges of settling down. How did our background, let's just reflect on our background, our life experiences. What role did they play? How did they determine how the journey went?
Through this period, I've actually been reflecting on the goodness of God and how He has helped us thus far. It has been a week or a period of reflection. And, I was actually reflecting back on how, will I say who I was? You understand? Who I was in the early days of marriage compared to who I am now. And I know that if it is not because of the mercy of God, this marriage would have long been forgotten. Why am I saying that? It's because, when I came into the marriage, I came in with a lot of baggage, a lot of trauma as a result of my experience. Throughout my childhood, it has been like a childhood of, I felt as if I wasn't loved. You understand? Because I believe my parents didn't understand me very well. They didn't understand my temperament. And they didn't know how to relate with me in order to bring out the best in me. They felt as if I'm always rebellious, always angry, always antagonistic and things like that. So, but the issue is, I was also struggling with myself. Some of the reasons why I was behaving like that is because I wasn't understood and I felt unloved. All through. I felt as if I wasn't giving the attention that I needed, like my siblings were given. And as a result of that, I had to push my way through life. I had to push my way even, before I could be heard, I need to assert. You understand? I need to assert myself. I need to let them know that, no, this thing needs to be done and things like that, So it's like I grew up fighting my way through life.
Yeah.
You understand? So I came up with that. One, I wasn't confident in the fact that somebody could love me. Unconditionally, yes. Unconditionally. I wasn't confident about that, And then I also wasn't confident because, I was also somebody who was bullied as a result of probably my looks or so. People will say, hey, you have big head, you have this, you have that, you have that. So I grew up to accept myself. You understand? I grew up to accept myself, but that injury was there. So I came into the marriage. I remember when you were telling me, you're so beautiful. I will always say, no, I'm not beautiful. I'm just okay. You understand? And I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. That was the trauma talking. Yeah. That was the injury talking and all that. So I came to the marriage with all that. That was my background. When I came into the marriage, it was like I needed to fight my husband in order to be heard. Yeah. I needed to assert in order, because that was the background. You understand? I didn't understand what it means to talk gently and be heard. I didn't know how to express myself. Yeah. You understand? I didn't develop the ability to express myself. Yeah. So I felt as if I needed to fight all through. So I came ready to fight.
Yeah, and I think one of the effect of that I saw loudly and we spoke about was that, you actually just mentioned, by the way, was that you were not ready to receive love.
No, I wasn't ready. I actually
even
wasn't
when
ready
I was giving you love unconditionally, truly from my heart. Yeah. You felt there was a second
there was
agenda,
a second,
there was an ulterior motive.
Exactly.
You know, you
Exactly.
were not just ready to accept it and respond and so that it continues.
Yeah. You know, so I wasn't ready to actually receive the love because I didn't know how to receive love. You understand? I actually didn't know how to receive your unconditional affection because I felt, okay, this is it. How long is it going to last? You know, and things like that. So I really wasn't ready. I didn't even know how to respond to it.